Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another figure commission. This one is for Bitten Dalfoss and it is FDC. Now those of you who watched me for a long time and remember everything that I do may recall that I have made this character before. But last time I made her using that buildable Amy Rose statue and that wasn't a proper figure. This one is going to be a proper action figure. And just in case any of you are thinking that she kind of looks like a color-inverted S&T, that's kind of by design, because the little girl who designed this character was heavily inspired by S&T. Of course, she only has one tail, and, she does look a little different. She has different bangs, at least. So, yeah, like, inspired by S&T. There could be worse inspirations for her character. Now, the problem is that Bitten sent me the Amy Rose figure, which he purchased online, and something that nobody knew until I opened up the packaging and realized how loose her legs were, was that it was the knockoff Amy. Yeah, there was nothing in the description, apparently, that would have implied that this was the knockoff Wave Amy Rose, and, yeah, so my first hint that it was not the real Amy Rose was how limp and weak the leg joints were, and my second hint was when the shoulders snapped right off the peg instead of moving at the pin disc. So yeah, there's some shoddy construction for you. Which is, it's really interesting that it came out this way because, I didn't realize that if you look at the back of the knockoff box, like, the 4 figures featured there aren't the same ones that actually came out in the wave. It didn't have that Super Silver, for example, because Super Silver was one of the knockoff figures. But yeah, this just proves to me that the knockoff figures are not good even for making customs with. Fortunately, I was able to find a slightly used Amy Rose figure on eBay for relatively cheap, which we used to replace it, and now we have a proper Amy figure to work with. Let's start with the body modifications because that's the easy part, relatively speaking. The torso, now Bitten actually said that I did not have to do any resculpting of the dress or anything. We're sticking with Amy's traditional little hoop skirt, and all we're doing is painting it different colors. And then we had to add the tail. This is an extra tail from a Tails figure that I had customized before, and to make it work on the body, I drilled a hole into it that would be big enough for Amy Rose's tail to slide into like a sleeve, and once it was on there, it's glued on, of course. I used a little bit of epoxy sculpt to blend it in so there will be one continuous shape. It's painted pink so that it doesn't show when you look underneath. And that was the modifications to the torso. And the boots, while mostly just a repaint, did have a little addition in this craft foam bow. Now, this isn't a real bow. To make something that looks like a tiny little bow for little shoelaces like this, the secret is that you make a loop, and then you make a second loop next to it. So, you don't actually have to tie the bow. It's too small to actually tie anyway, but it looks like it. And, you can paint it into whatever color you want once it's on there. So those were the boots, and that's pretty much all the modification that had to be done to the body, because the arms were exactly the same. Now we get into the head. Like I said, FDC looks very similar to S&T because that was the primary inspiration. So I remembered, hey, I made an S&T custom before. I still have the 3D model of the VTuber model in my memory. So I went ahead and printed out another copy of the head, the version of it that had the bangs cut off, because FDC has different bangs from S&T, so that, I didn't need S&T's bangs. Of course, the model had these goggles built in, so I had to shave them off with my Dremel tool. It doesn't look pretty like this, but once everything is sculpted over nice and smooth, and I fixed all the hair points that didn't come out, as well as, fixing up the bangs and everything, we have something that looks, presentable. It looks a lot, it looks like the character that it's supposed to look like now. With a nice pink job, she goes from being just S&T without goggles to FDC with her own bangs and eye color and everything. So, yeah, I added a little plug of plastic underneath her chin to hold her head up so it would look directly into the camera, but now we are attaching it to the figure, and that is FDC. Yep, they're there with her pretty little sky blue dress and her little pink head. And I'm actually surprised that the Amy Rose figure is actually well balanced enough that I could put that tail sticking out the back and it doesn't throw the figure off balance. Like, she can still stand perfectly well. I think between how strong the hip joints are and how big her feet are. Also, because the 3D printed head is inherently a little bit lighter than the actual cast head, it just makes the figure, easy to stand and pose, and this will be a great little display piece for Bitten. So, yep, there we go. I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep up my customizing, because remember, we are technically in the holiday shopping season, but I will be back to you as soon as I can. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.